Hi, I'm Marie Carr, and I'm a partner in our insurance practice. My area of focus is how insurance companies grow. I'm joined today by our insurance advisory practice leader, Jamie Yoder, who has been focused in looking at how innovation has been shaping the insurance industry for a very long time. Co-authoring The Future of Insurance, our colleague Anand Rao, who's been focused on not only innovation, but global innovation, analytics, and AI, and how that applies to insurance and financial services sector. So we've been talking a lot about innovation, but the next question really is, how are people doing this? How are insurance companies really bringing this innovation about?
Well, I think there's really sort of three models we see, and in many cases, organizations, particularly large ones, are doing all three. So it's not the case of what's the right model. It's all may apply, and depends on the particular use and activity. And sort of the three levels, sort of the first really starts at within your organization, sort of your people. So how do you really look at the subject matter experts to ignite and drive innovation internally, and bring that really within the business units, and bring that to those business units, that innovation center that may exist within the organization. The second really is more around how you drive some innovation for your company, and that's about tapping into sort of the external structure. So incubators, we've seen there's a number of different models and of incubators and companies who participate in that, but they really bring together some of the startup activity with the companies in a way that allows you to explore and manage these ventures to drive the direction, and really from the ideas to the execution. Right? Which of these may be within your particular strike zone of area of interest? You can observe several of them and say, some of these we want to be sort of an expert panel and provide guidance and direction to the startups, and figure out then how that may or may not work within your organization. And that's sort of that incubator model. And then the third really is more of the, we see a good interest in the sort of the strategic venture capital funds, where in this case it's really how that's really about influencing the sector itself, right? So the technology sector in a way, sort of shaping the direction of where it may go. So IoT is an example, where you may be a catalyst to push it further and help bridge their success. So you're influencing the success, but largely as an outsider per se, and then figuring out how that then may be employed and used within your organization.
Excellent.
Yeah. What's fascinating about this is Jamie and I have been covering the future of insurance for more than a decade, is the speed at which some of these things are happening, right? So of course we said that these things would happen, but the speed at which it's happening, and also the cultural change that the insurance companies are going through, is phenomenal.
It is.
In terms of using data analytics, and even being able to set up these kinds of innovation structures, and to start having innovation as almost their DNA. They're not quite there yet, but at least as part of the DNA, as part of everything that they do, that's a big change. And not many sectors are doing that, and that's why it's sort of surprising for us that we are moving very well and very fast in this innovation.
Yeah, well, I think what's interesting, moving on the innovation, but when we look at how we actually employ it, I talked earlier about, I think one of the big changes and shifts is recognizing I don't have to do it all within myself. That how do I really tap into this, these levels of innovation that are occurring, in the broader ecosystem. And so the role of innovation within an organization is not so much, here's this little innovation group and what we do, but the role of that group, an innovation function is really the connection between what's happened external and how you try it to the business. It's this linkage of how do you then facilitate the planning, the connecting, and the accelerating of the use, or the adoption of new capabilities. And that's it, and that requires a little different shift, and it also demands a little bit of a different culture, or a change in terms of how you adapt to the culture, because you're now bringing together the startup culture with carrier culture, and there's some really interesting things around the immediacy, different views of what immediate means. Certainly, the whole sense of urgency around it, the pace by which you want to employ something, how fast you can roll things out and react to it, balanced with the notion of maybe startups have less concern, or historically have had less concern on some of the regulatory or on the success rate and other factors that that we look at, sort of the return on investment in other forms.
So just to end, we often urge our clients to think like an incumbent, but act like a disruptor, right? So to think about profitability, the ROE, all of the very traditional measures, but do it in a way that the disruptors are doing and the startups are doing.